TomoNews presents India.
India.
7 elephants were killed and many more were injured by a train speeding through a wildlife sanctuary in West Bengal on Wednesday evening. The Kaviguru Express train was passing through the Chaparmari forest in Jalpaiguri. A herd of 40 elephants was crossing the tracks. The train approached at 80 kilometers per hour, twice the speed limit for the elephant corridor. The train collided with the herd, stopping only after one elephant got stuck beneath it. 7 elephants, including 2 calves, were killed. 10 were severely injured. Since 2004, more than 50 elephants have been killed in West Bengal state alone.
Indian teen gets tail surgically removed. A boy in India secretly lived with an 8-inch-long tail growing from his back, which doctors say is the longest ever recorded. The boy's parents knew about the growth but feared social stigma and kept it hidden. It was only when the fleshy tail became painful that they finally sought a doctor. Human tails typically result from a compression at the tail end of the back and grow with age. If unchecked, they can lead to problems in the bladder and lower limbs. At age 18, the boy's 8-inch-long tail had developed a bone inside it and rendered him unable to sleep or sit properly. Neurosurgeons successfully removed the tail, finally relieving the boy of his extreme pain and discomfort. Similar cases of human tails have been reported in India, though the growth tends to be a rare occurrence. A boy in Punjab was worshipped as the reincarnation of a Hindu monkey god because of the tail protruding from his back. The 14-year-old was born with the tail, along with a clubfoot deformity, and had trouble walking. He opted to have his tail removed last year, despite knowing he'd lose his monkey god status. Heaviest woman on Earth gets set for extreme weight loss surgery. This is Iman Ahmed. Age 36, she's believed to be the world's heaviest woman and has been bedridden for more than 2 decades. This week, Ahmed was flown from her home in Alexandria, Egypt, to Mumbai, India, via cargo plane. There, she's on a 25-day liquid diet to get her weight down from nearly half a ton to 445 kilograms, before undergoing extreme surgery to reduce her mass even more. And going from these photos, the journey to the aircraft was an operation in itself. First, they had to construct a special bed for Ahmed to be transported in. Then, part of her bedroom wall was knocked down so that she could be fished out by crane. She was then transported to the airport and loaded into the hold of the cargo plane. Ahmed suffers from elephantiasis, a condition that causes the body to fatten, and that's just one of her many medical dilemmas. She can't speak or use her right arm or leg because of a stroke. And on top of that, she's got diabetes, gout, high blood pressure, and restrictive lung disease. Ahmed will be operated on at Safi Hospital, where India's top obesity surgeon, known as Dr. Mufi, has taken her on pro bono. During the op, Ahmed's stomach will be cut down to around 15% of its original size. Surgeons eventually hope to reduce Ahmed's weight to less than 100 kilograms through various medical procedures over a 4-year period, meaning the battle to save Ahmed's life is going to be a long and potentially dangerous one. Air India technician dies after being sucked into engine. An Air India service engineer was killed when he was sucked into the engine of an aircraft at Mumbai airport on Wednesday night. Air India Flight 619 en route to Hyderabad from Mumbai was being pushed back from the parking bay before takeoff. At around 8:40 p.m., an eyewitness said it appeared the co-pilot mistook a signal as clearance for departure and started the engine. A service engineer who was standing nearby and supervising the pullback was pulled into the engine and died instantly. The technician, identified as Ravi Subramanian, was in his 50s. His job included disconnecting the pushcart from the aircraft before it moves towards the runway. Sources said the A319 aircraft's auxiliary power unit was not working. Without the APU system, one of the engines must be started with an external power source before the pushback. Once the aircraft is pushed back, the live engine has to be revved up for the other engine to start. Air India chairman Ashwani Lohani described the accident as a mishap, but it's not yet clear what happened. The incident is under investigation.
Woman in India gives birth to child with rare deformities. Alien or God? This is what many see when they get a glimpse of the baby boy who was born in Katahar, India earlier this week. Doctors treating the newborn have diagnosed him with harlequin ichthyosis, a rare genetic disorder that creates thick skin and deformities. Medical experts say the child's features could also be a case of a defect called anencephaly, which results in babies born without critical parts of the brain and skull. The child's mother, 35-year-old Khalida Begum, went into labor on March 20th. After giving birth to her fourth child, Begum was stunned to meet whom she called the alien-looking boy, and told the midwife assisting with the birth to take him out of her sight. Once her initial shock wore off, though, Begum's motherly instincts returned and she willingly breastfed the child hours later. Following the boy's birth, word spread through local villages, and herds of devout Hindus showed up to worship the child, whom they believe may be a reincarnation of one of their gods, Lord Hanuman. So which is it? An alien, a Hindu god, or perhaps just a child who clearly has a difficult life ahead of him? Let us know what you think in the comments.
Glass-coated kite strings kill 3 people in India. India's Independence Day celebrations were marred by tragedy after 3 people were killed by kite strings in separate incidents. Glass-coated kite strings are commonplace in India, used mostly in kite fighting to cut down rival kites. Unfortunately, the strings have been found to cut more than just kites, and are often found dangerously left hanging on trees and telephone poles. It was one such hanging string that slit the throat of a 3-year-old girl on Monday as she rode in her parents' car with her head out of the sunroof. It was the same for a little boy who had been enjoying the breeze when a kite string abruptly ended his life. The final gruesome death that day was that of a 22-year-old man whose throat was slashed by a sharp string while he was riding his motorbike. Locally known as manja, the deadly strings are an import from China. Though banned in some Indian states, the product is still available in stores. Indian beauty blogger speaks out against female shaming acid attacks. In a YouTube video posted to the channel Make Love Not Scars, 18-year-old Reshma Bano Qureshi teaches viewers how to get perfect red lips. This video, though, which has gotten more than 1 million views, does so much more than give simple beauty tips. Qureshi isn't the typical beauty guru. She's missing her left eye and her skin is badly scarred. This is what Qureshi used to look like before her brother-in-law and a group of men held her down and poured sulfuric acid on her face. Her experience is far too common for women and children in many parts of the world. These barbaric acid attacks cause horrific physical damage and a lifetime of emotional trauma. What provokes them? Reasons as slight as a woman rejecting a man's unwanted attention or not producing a male child. Reshma Qureshi now hosts these beauty videos, giving her a platform to talk about acid attacks in India. In her video, she explains that it's too easy for attackers, which are almost always men, to buy acid. Why is it so easy? A 2013 order by India's Supreme Court halted the open sale of acid. But this doesn't eliminate the dangerous acids present in household items, like toilet cleaning acid, so a cowardly man can still easily ruin a woman's life with just a few rupees. Acid attack survivors are often judged by their looks, which are obviously quite different from conventional conceptions of what a woman should look like in India, and pretty much anywhere else for that matter. But this is precisely buying into the attackers' senseless goal of restoring their own somehow emasculated honor through shaming women. Qureshi isn't buying into it, and neither should anyone else.
India train accident kills 120 people. Over 100 people were killed and many more injured in one of India's worst train disasters in recent years. The incident occurred early Sunday morning when an overnight passenger train to Patna suddenly derailed near the city of Kanpur. The time was approximately 3 a.m. and most passengers were asleep when a suspected rail fracture caused the train to jump off the tracks. People inside were jolted awake and violently flung around as the cars began to topple over. 2 sleeper cars also reportedly telescoped into each other and trapped those inside. A total of 14 carriages were derailed, killing at least 120 people and injuring 200. Rescuers have had difficulty cutting through the metal compartments. By Sunday afternoon, they were using heavy machinery to get survivors out. India's railway system is the 4th largest in the world, but it is also reportedly one of the most unsafe, with thousands dying in accidents, collisions, and derailments each year. Leopard gate crashes couple's Himalayan honeymoon. A newlywed couple got the fright of their lives last week when an uninvited guest joined them in their honeymoon suite in India. The couple had a rude awakening in the early hours last Sunday when they were roused from their slumber by the sound of shattering glass. Shocked to see a leopard staring them down, the man and his wife hid under the covers and prayed. But the leopard was scared too and took shelter in the bathroom. Seizing his chance, the husband barricaded the bathroom door and called for help. According to reports, the leopard ran to the hotel because it was being chased by a pack of street dogs, which explains why he was happy to chill in the bathroom until the coast was clear. Wildlife officials later arrived with a cage and tranquilizer gun, ready to catch the leopard, but the wily cat escaped through the bathroom window. The hotel the couple was staying in is located in a resort town in the Himalayas. The manager said he had never seen anything like it and thought at first that the couple must have seen a cat. Big cat, buddy. Aside from a little smashed glass and a messy bathroom, no real damage was done. The couple continued with their honeymoon, and as far as we know, the leopard returned to the jungle, where hopefully he can stay out of the way of street dogs.
Teacher falls 50 feet to the ground during fire drill. A teacher in Moradabad, India fell 50 feet onto a concrete sidewalk in a horrific accident during a drill that was caught on video. The unidentified teacher was participating in a fire drill conducted by local civil defense officials when the incident occurred. The exercise was supposed to show students how to evacuate in case of fire, or if the aftermath of an earthquake blocks their traditional escape route. Rescue workers tied a rope around the teacher's waist before she was lowered from the top of a building in front of students. At around the 4th floor, the teacher was supposed to detach from the rope and ride safely to the ground via a red slide made from toughened fabric. Unfortunately, the teacher couldn't get into the correct position on the slide and slipped out of the rope, plummeting 50 feet to the ground. Officials later said the teacher was in the intensive care unit of the hospital and is being treated for multiple injuries. Unfortunately, that's one way to teach students about safety.
Conjoined twins born with 2 heads and 1 body survive an incredible 3 weeks. Twin baby girls born with an extraordinarily rare condition have died 3 short weeks after their birth in the northern Indian city of Sonipat, outside New Delhi. The conjoined twins managed to survive for 20 days despite their 2 heads sharing just 1 body and 1 set of internal organs. Unable to afford an ultrasound, Subhash Sharma and his expectant wife Urmila were unaware of their daughter's condition until well into the pregnancy. Born with 2 necks and 2 distinct spines, as can be clearly seen in this X-ray taken just after birth, the girls each had their own trachea, but each had just 1 lung to breathe with, making it extremely difficult to separate them. Due to the extreme risk of labor complication posed to both the twins and their mother, the children were born by C-section on March 13. After 2 days, the children were transferred to a neonatal intensive care unit at a research hospital in Delhi. But a heartbroken Urmila decided she could not bear to meet her children in person and so refused to see them, keeping only a photograph. In the ICU, they held on until April 2, when the baby's single heart gave out. As the pediatric surgeon in charge of the girls, Dr. Muni Bajpai explained, in the end, the baby's heart was too weak.
Pregnant dancer gunned down by men who were told they couldn't dance with her. 24-year-old Kulwinder Kaur's life was cut short on December 3rd, the victim of a stray bullet during a wedding celebration in India. Moments before her death, Kulwinder was performing a dance routine on stage with 3 other women. She and her friends must have caught the attention of a group of party boys who wanted to bump and grind with them. Unfortunately for the drunk dudes, they were refused by security and escorted away from the stage area. They weren't too thrilled about it, so they decided to go grab some guns and fire shots into the air, as some idiots tend to do at weddings in India. One of the men, Lucky Goyal, was shooting with a long gun, but his aim was a little off. Kulwinder crumpled to the ground, blood leaking out from a bullet wound on her head.
She was rushed to the hospital but died along the way. Her husband claims she was midway through her first trimester of pregnancy. Meanwhile, the 4 men have been arrested and are now facing charges for Kulwinder's untimely death.
Monkey pulls off epic heist from jewelry store. The surveillance footage starts off with a monkey outside the store pretending to beg for food. One of the people inside nudges the door open and gives the monkey what appears to be some banana. Rather than eat the banana, the monkey pushes the door wide open and dashes into the shop. The monkey then starts to run around, causing mayhem, which prompts one of the men to leave the store. The long-tailed bandit then jumps into the chair behind the counter and appears to chill out for a while before his next move. Curious George then calmly pulls open the cash drawer and grabs a huge wad of cash, while another man in the store offers it another piece of banana. Who needs a banana when you have a buttload of cash? The monkey hightails it out of there with cash in hand and makes a clean getaway. Unfortunately, the monkey could not be reached for comment.